Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, it's Regit, and it is an evolution-y day, because it is time, finally, for another cat fruit evolution. And this time, this is an evolution I've been wanting to do for a long time, but for some reason I've been procrastinating about. I don't really know why, because it's an evolution I wanted to do, but there you go. It's the evolution of Masai cat to, clicks evolve now, Jiangshi cat. I call it the jingle-bells cat. In any case, true form evolution increases attack, decreased deploy cost, and adds the ability to survive one lethal blow. Now this all means that this could quite possibly be an amazing cat spam contender, and at the very least will be a lot better than Masai cat. Increases attack, can survive a lethal blow, and costs less to deploy. Sounds pretty good. So we're going to use the cat fruit that it dictates to evolve it, as well as 200,000 XP, and we're going to click evolve now, and we're going to watch the magic happen as our jumping, bouncing Masai cat turns into Jiangshi jingle-bells cat. Still bouncing and still very happy indeed. Very, very good. So this cat is hopefully going to be amazing. Horror movie maniac, or a real ghost. Ties in quite well with Halloween, really. Mystic seal is just this month's gas bill. Cheap to produce, 100% survives once, so it will definitely survive a lethal blow, which is brilliant! Strangely worded, but yeah. Now, we're going to test it out. The first place we are going to test the Jingly Jingle-bells cat is on the Stories of Legend stage Government Watchdog, and this is because when you hit the base in Government Watchdog, you are unloaded upon to you a gigantic load of enemies. Now, this cat should be brilliant against them because, as a cat spam unit, you can spam it and make it a meat shielding unit. Also, because of its ability to survive a lethal blow, it will essentially count for 2 meat shielding units in one, which helps account for its cost, which is brilliant. And this should hopefully help to have a smaller amount of meat shielding that will still be effective. So I brought along with me 2 cat combos worth, which should help, and we have our cat dam to sort of slow all enemies, I think. We have our Aruran to knock back all enemies, and Catman to do a lot of damage to aliens. We also have a 3-part cat spam, including the Jingle-bells cat. I'm just going to keep calling it Jingle-bells cat. But in any case, this hopefully should work. I'm also going to bring along a cat CPU, because I cannot be bothered to spam that much. And this should help us to do extremely well. So let's press attack, and into the battle we go. I'm really hoping this works so we can demonstrate the true might of this. So we immediately turn off the CPU, otherwise it will wreak havoc, because the first thing we want to do on Government Watchdog is wait. So we're going to deploy ourselves a manic eraser and just build up our worker cat and wait in that respect while we listen to pretty brilliant music. Made a little bit of a mistake there, so we're probably going to be unloading onto a little bit quickly, but in any case we'll spawn our Aruran and get this going. Let's put this show on the road and help the CPU to spam units. So immediately unloads of the cat cannon, and hopefully with our Jingle-bells cats you'll see them running up to the enemies, and when they're killed you'll hear a ding, as you heard there, and a little strong arm sort of symbol showing that it has survived the lethal blow. And this should help it to meat shield so that we have our Aruran doing a lot of damage, and also our Catman coming up behind to do a lot of damage to aliens, especially with the cat combo that we have increasing massive damage. So, the amount of Jingle-bells cats deliciously jumping upon the enemies. I don't know why I used the word deliciously, but there we go. It's a brilliant sight to see how effectively they meat shielding. I can't speak. It's a brilliant sight to see how effectively they meat shield against this massive clump of Celaboodles and the alien ones, and it's terrifying. But actually, the amount of Jingle-bells cats and the fact that they survive lethal blows means that with the CPU, they are just absolutely destroying this level. And this is going to be a rampant success, and I'm very pleased in that fact. The Jingle-bells cat so far proves a brilliant meat shield, and the best place to have this is in levels like this, where because there are so many enemies, you are always generating a massive amount of money from your worker cat, so you will always have enough money with which to spend on the slightly more expensive cat that is the Jiangshi Jingle-bells cat. That is a use for it, and now we will demonstrate this again in another Stories of Legend level. This is Gestalt Decay in subchapter Body and Soul. This stage includes a lot of alien and black enemies, and by a lot I mean a lot, which is why we are bringing with us once again the Jiangshi jingle-bells cat to help meat shield. Now usually I need a 5-part cat spam to deal with this, especially with my cat spamming skills, which are rather terrible. In fact, I almost said kills, which is sort of hindsight to the fact that I always die when trying to actually meat shield properly, which never works out. So what I've brought with me is 4-part, but with our Jiangshi cat, so hopefully that will account for sort of 2 cats, so that we have the rest of the slots to include things like Paris, and effective against black enemies, and effective against alien enemies, cats, to help deal with the enemies themselves, rather than meat shielding from them. So this should be a good opportunity to show this, and I'm not going to use the CPU this time to see if even with my cat spamming skills, if this cat will be effective and useful. Right, here we go then. The dark cave of nothingness. I'm sure there'll be something coming out soon. If my memory is correct, it's a scissoroo, but we'll have to see. I guess, just wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it a bit longer. There we go, it is in fact a scissoroo. Right, let's bring ourselves a manic eraser to try and deal with this immediate danger. Oh wow, okay. It's providing a lot of immediate danger. Let's bring out a Jiangshi as well and try and build up our worker cat at least a little bit. Okay, this isn't going to work out. Let's just change tack a little bit and have ourselves a Paris cat as well, as quite a lot of cat spam to the scissoroo doesn't get to the base. Because if scissoroo does get to the base, we're in shtuck. We're in big shtuck. So hopefully if we can keep ourselves here, we'll be fine. But there is an additional Shibalian Croxo spam coming along, which is not too useful. But Jiangshi's doing their brilliant job of surviving lethal blows and helping to meat shield against the scissoroo, which has now been knocked back. This is going to use a cat cannon because the amount of Croxos and such doesn't really do much to them, because I imagine they got actually a decent bit of health. We got rid of them now, so hopefully it should be simple to just cat spam like this for a while, develop our worker cat up to a higher level, and then have enough to go forward with the rest of this stage. And scissoroo gets knocked back again. I was about to do a jump cut there, but something exciting happened. Level 6 worker cat, and scissoroo almost on its own once again. Looks like we'll just have to rinse and repeat, and I will join you when the scissoroo is gone. The scissoroo is gone, and now it's time to unleash the white rabbit, because first there are a lot of scissoroos to be dealt with, and then we'll have the rest of the stuff to use. In fact, now, as the scissoroos are coming, as soon as the white rabbit starts generating us a lot of money, we need to get ourselves some anti-black enemies pretty quick, because we're going to get a lot of Shadow Boxer Ks very, very soon indeed. Right, white rabbit, do your thing! Shoot them! Please, be fast, be speedy! Right, we'll get ourselves Guardian Camera, and that might actually have been a pretty bad idea, but we'll just go with the flow, we'll be fine. White rabbit, do not get killed. Just stay there. Good. Money generating. Excellent news. The black enemies are coming out very soon. You do realise. Please shoot them. Please. I want to demonstrate It's gone. But anyway, we can get ourselves a spooky, scary Thundia as well as Oda. And now let's start cat spamming. Every time I seem to cat spam, the second element of it just seems to ignore my taps. That's why people say I have terrible meat shielding. It always seems to happen. Again, there! I tap on every single one, yet this always happens. I have no idea why. I would assume that the tapping works for every element, so I don't quite understand, but that just sometimes seems to happen. So that's why you'll see dodgy cat spam from me. I am trying to tap on every single one, but as you can see, a massive load of black enemies. Completely impenetrably undestroyable. But the Jiangshis are doing a brilliant job of meat shielding against these. With their sort of double lives, they are helping come back immediately so that when there is a shortage of cat spam, they are still always there, at least for 2 times. And then by that time, there is another one to fill its place. And of course, we're destroying so many of these enemies. This is the perfect kind of level in which to use Jiangshi, when you get a large amount of income from your enemies, but you need to do a lot of cat spamming to protect your units. And this is the sort of thing that you'll be wanting to use it on. This is an extremely versatile cat. I imagine it can do a decent bit of damage within itself, but it's primarily meat shielding. And of course, because it's Masai's true form, Masai is a little bit expensive, but they made it better and cheaper. This is a massive improvement on the Masai cat, and is a very usable cat. You might not see it a lot in tutorials, just by the virtue of the fact that it is a gacha cat, and most tutorials are no gacha because you may not have this cat. But if you do have it, it can be extremely useful in doing strategies. So we're going to get ourselves another white rabbit, Oda, spooky scary thunder, all these sorts of things, because we are nearly at the base. We have survived the rush of black enemies, and it just seems that the ones at the moment are a final trickle before we defeat the base and conclude our study of the Jiangshi cat as a pretty brilliant cat fruit evolution of the Masai cat. And that is the base down, confirming that this cat is utterly brilliant. I hope you enjoyed.